Hello and welcome to my world. On this week's commentary, we're going to do another tier list because I happened to see that there is someone did created a tier list option for today's subject of ranking the or grading the Showtime attacks in Persona 5 Royale. Now, I have played the game last year. It was the one game that I've spent the most time on as it relates to just uh, any single player experience. It was somewhere close about like 150 plus hours or close to that amount. It was a lot of time spent in just that one game. And I thoroughly enjoyed Persona 5 Royale. I am looking forward to playing it again, this time on the Xbox side. Anyway, but this we're going to be ranking or grading the Showtime attacks, and for the footage that we'll be looking at, we are going to be using the 4K footage that the YouTuber Faz posted, and it's at Faz Persona on YouTube. They do daily Persona videos, and they it's actually a great channel as it relates to just the deep dives and things that they can find in the code that was just left in there. They've also done some stuff on Shimigami Tensei. I think they are the playthroughs. They have guides here, all various things, and some videos they have from when P5R launched. So it's a if you like Persona, Faz's channel is the one to check out. I'm going to be sure to include the link in the description below. Now, so we, and by the way, I don't do any editing. It's all live to hard drive, folks. So you get it is what it is here. So we'll put it up on full screen and we will judge rank in order with each individual one. So let's go here with the full screen. I believe the first one is An and Morgana.
Now! We can't let Joker die! Follow my lead! This is how I really feel! Thanks! You have such good taste! Yeah! Get a load of this! Perfect!
Okay. So, what I like about An and Morgana's Showtime, number one, it totally plays into Morgana's crush on An. Straight out with handing her the flowers. And to some extent, it also plays into An being completely oblivious of Morgana's crush on her. So reaching into the roses, pulling out the guns, doing the big twirl around, and building up to Morgana just tossing a little bomb there at the very end. And they share a little pose. There is some great little character moments there that make you appreciate the chemistry they have as characters. And also, if memory serves me right, it is the first Showtime that becomes unlocked for players. My memory might be a little fuzzy on that. But for if I'm right on that, for what it is out right there, and this tier list goes S, A, B, C, D. So we're gonna say it's a solid B tier. B tier for An and Morgana. So what's the next one?
Pretty good! I'm fired up!
Joker's looking pretty bad. Let's show him, Queen.
So it's
It's showtime!
Let's rock, Fist of the Phantom Star.
Snap!
Ow, sorry. All right. Blast off!
what
That was great.
Okay. So true story, you can obviously tell I know what it's referencing. So true story, end of 2020, beginning of 2021. I was playing Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, which is a PS4 exclusive. And so while going into that game, I had a basic knowledge of Kenshiro and his various attacks and so forth. So I got real used to seeing the Hokuto 100 Fish Rush. So when I saw that the first time in P5R, Makoto and Ryuji's Showtime, I instantly got the reference and I loved it right off the bat. It is, without question, for me, it's S tier. Because of the reference, it fits Makoto perfectly. It also fits the fact that Ryuji does respect her essence, from what I understand of the school hierarchy in Japan, which I understand very little about. There is the whole respect the elder classmen type deal there. So you get that reference, get that it featured into it. Um, it it's just perfect. Again, you have a great reference. It plays up to Makoto being a badass, Ryuji wanting to be a badass, but he knows his place. That's S tier for me, right out there. So can't get better on that. And the fact that Futaba actually has the line, "Hey, I love that reference." I mean, who doesn't? So there, so there we go. There.
I love that reference. Here we go.
On and
We will not abide
Yusuke.
by death.
Follow my lead.
Settle down. You stand before our princess.
Not for long.
I am her sword. Unworthy of my blade.
Very beautiful.
Okay, I am not gonna lie there. You probably saw the expression on my face. Visually, it's very Yusuke and An's Showtime. It's very pretty. I But it also comes across as a bit flat because I don't feel Yusuke and An had the greatest chemistry, particularly when one remembers the whole incident when Yusuke is introduced as it relates to his painting and him wanting An to model for him in a particular way. I mean, it does, and I don't feel it flows together as nicely as it possibly could, because they don't exactly team up. You got An basically they do the initial pose together. An does the whip thing, and then Yusuke gets the big finish with the sword, but it just feels very separate. So for me, I want to say I want to be nice and say C tier because I do feel that there is one that is actually worse than it. Actually, I feel there might be two that are worse than it, but we'll get to them in the order that Faz has them in his video. Next one.
Let's end them. Joker's in trouble. Let's get him, Fox. Let's go. Man, I'm starving. Allow me. Oh, some sauce. A touch of red. Bon appetit. Oh, man, just what I want. Get out of my face! Chew on this! Not bad at all.
Okay. Now there are two versions of that particular one that I do remember seeing. There's that one, and then if you're facing a boss and it has more of a POV perspective of it towards its end. But that one that Faz included is the basic one that you would see with most with most enemies. I kind with Ryuji loving ramen, it works very well. And Yusuke, making it rather an artistic display of putting ramen together works very well. And then, you know, person, whatever monster it is, barges in and they turn around and basically Pulp Fiction, like Jules and what was I forget Travolta's character names. Jules and Vincent is basically that sudden turnaround and just take him out with a grenade. It all works together. It all fits nicely, but part of me kind of would thinks like, wouldn't it work better with the roles reverse of Ryuji making the ramen? Because Yusuke is always hungry. He is the literal starving artist. But that kind of is what it is there. So with that said, I like it definitely more than Yusuke and Ons, but do I like it more than On and Morgana? And I want to say I do, but do I think is it B tier or A tier? And no, I think it's B tier. Like there some things with it is what is there. Next,
You sure were hungry. I'm fired up. Quick, before they get Joker! It's showtime. Pardon me. Let's do this. Okay. Huh? You're not done yet, Rob. You ready? Always. Watch this. Show's over. Splendid. Maybe we overdid it. Was a
as a longtime wrestling, anybody that knows me knows I'm a longtime wrestling fan. So I got a real kick of it the first time I saw it when I was playing P5R last year. I certainly wasn't expecting it, considering Haru's initial disposition of what I knew of Haru, until I realized that she is basically an axe wielding maniac. It's like, because Haru gets introduced so late into the game of the base story of Persona 5. You don't see her. Uh, you get her during the Akuma arc, which is before the arc dealing with Makoto's sister Sei in her palace. So Haru does not get the screen time or the character development as much as everyone else, particularly following Futaba's epic journey. So with that said, I do think it flows together perfectly. It's like, okay, you got the drop kick, close line into the corner, drop kick, chair shot to go to the top rope, double elbows. As a wrestling move, double team sequence, it absolutely works. You could actually see that happening in almost any type of tag team match with two like lightweight, cruiserweight wrestlers in particular. So you totally can see it because it is actually realistic. And it's also a funny as hell movie. If you can get that Showtime on Mara, and anybody who knows what Mara is in relation to the Persona and the SMT games, it's a real ball buster. So where would I place it? It's S tier. I still like Makoto with Ryuji's more, and funny enough, both Makoto's ends up being in the S tier position. Next, um,
KO. Ready to go. Joker's pain is our pain. That's our cue. Ha! Transform! bad. And that's that. Mona-chan!
Let's do.
Yeah. Remember what I said that there was one or two I thought were at worse than An and Yosuke's. Oh, excuse me, Yosuke is in Persona 4. An and Morgana kind of falls into that one because in many regards I kind of feel with Morgana transforming into the van and with having anyone on top, I kind of feel that just based on the visuals, it kind of would work better with Morgana and Ryuji. I get why it's Haru and Morgana. I totally get why, because Morgana basically discovers Haru off screen as a Persona user and breaks him in that regard. So plus, you want every character to have at least to have two show times. And it also plays in the fact that Haru is introduced so late. And it kind of plays in, it does play to partly into her personality a little bit as being a very destructive side. Again, as I said before, axe wielding maniac. I just don't like it all that much. So it's C tier for me there. So we got two left, and you can probably take a guess of which one of these of the remaining two I really don't care for. So this one, is it with Violet or Catchy?
Let's dance!
Or is it Violet?
Would you?
Finish this.
With grace. This is... Don't forget the pose.
All right. Since again, Violet and Akechi don't become members or affiliated with the Phantom Thieves until you get to access the Royale content, which is the third time. Excuse me, the third semester. So obviously, Joker, with their connections to Joker, it plays heavily there, and I personally really, really like Violet and Joker Showtime. I just don't love it. It's referential regarding Violet's character arc, everything regarding her and her identical twin sister. It definitely looks great again because it was added in for the royal version of Persona 5, and everything, it's as perfect as can be, but I personally don't love it. For me, it's A tier. I know people will probably say because it looks so much better, but I also have to take into account that it was not part of the original game, and so I can't put it into the S tier because it's kind of like characters in fighting games. It's like when you can always tell when characters are added and that they're like their sprites, like if it's a sprite 2D sprite fighter game, like Persona 4 Arena to perform Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. One can easily tell the difference between those two games just based on the sprites. Particularly in P4AU, you know which characters were in the original P4A game and which characters were added in because the sprites look so much better, the instant kills look so much better. So I have to take that into account here. And that brings us to what I consider to be the absolute worst Showtime in all of Persona 5 Royale.
What's going on with you? Weaklings like you! That was disappointing.
Pretty crazy technique, but it worked.
I hate it. I hate it when I first saw it. And it's been like 6 months since I've finished Persona 5 Royale. I hate it even now. Because, excuse me, for Akechi and Joker to be teaming up, and one would assume there would have been a lot more symmetry there because they are, in many respects, mirrored counterparts. And so what you got the initial intro to it and them rushing towards the enemy on a rooftop. Joker uses the grappling hook and goes in, swings in, gets one slice in, and then Akechi just going hack and slash. And it's like, really? You could have, it could have been so much more similar, considering that a large part of Akechi's character arc is him basically seeing that there's not really much of a difference between himself and Joker, other than like really circumstances. So, without question, for me, it's D tier. It's the worst Showtime in the game because there was so much potential there. It's like, and that's what I feel is wasted. Visually, it looks good, but again, I can't really. I mean, it looks as good as Joker and Violet, but just it doesn't have what I feel it needed to really make it work, in my opinion. And what's really terrible about the Joker Akechi Showtime is that if you play, and I've played Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, and Akechi has that is only available via the downloaded track for Willpower. If Joker is a dance partner, it plays up so perfectly. It's like, okay, the back and forth between them when Joker comes out for the fever time. It's like they got that vibe right there. Why couldn't they get the vibe right with the Showtime in P5R? Again, it's my personal preference here. Me trying to explain it, into contextualize it, and justify the rankings that I gave. So that kind of is what it is in my personal, non-professional opinion. Still, all in all, it was fun to do. So with that said, get to the promotional stuff. If you disagree with me on any of this, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I would say like and subscribe, but no one does that unless they really like a particular channel. Go check out Faz's content. Again, that link is going to be in the description below. I am trying to raise money for my mom's fight against cancer. And at the time I'm recording this, I got some interesting news, which I might address in a future video or in my blogs. But anyway, if you want to help my mom out, there's a GoFundMe link in the description below. And there's also a link to my Stream Element store where you can grab like t-shirts, mugs, and stuff. That link is down below as well. So all that stuff, folks. So till next time, let's see how long it takes me to come up with an idea for next week's video or direct commentary. We'll see you nightly over on my Twitch channel. So hope you stay safe, tighten your friendship bracelets, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.